Our limiting belief. That is the topic for today. When we talk about limitations, it doesn't have to do with something physical, but self limitation is about the mental limitation you have. In order for you to get from one stage to the next stage, you don't just have to move physically, you have to move it mentally. Albert Einstein said, if you can see it, then you can make it happen. But self limitation, how do you understand self limitation? How do you begin to see that you have self limitation? One way is by spending time alone. You see, one thing about isolation made me to understand things about myself, generational patterns that I have seen that has moved from one generation to another, and I begin to notice that thing when I was in awareness, when I begin still, I entered an isolation period. You see, limiting belief. When you talk about the limiting belief you have, these are things that have incubated in you when you were still a child. Sometimes we were guided by the wrong people, we went to the wrong schools, we mixed up with the wrong friends. Sometimes even your parents. Life is like a journey and no one knows the ending. But you see, limiting belief, it is something that you have to spot yourself. You have to check what is limiting you. Many of you don't sit down to ask yourself that question. What is your limitation? What is limiting you? Do you know limiting belief comes from this habit you are doing, the habits you make today, the decisions you make today? Sometimes the decisions you make today or the decisions you have made before, this is the price you are paying now. Good or bad, I don't know what you're going through. But the decision you've made in the past is the same decision that is flowing now in your life. You see, the limiting belief, the more you begin to grow, the more they begin to hide into subtle things that are common in your life. I begin to understand those little things that I find so common, but I begin to realize that they are limiting belief that I do daily that I don't even know that is hindering me. Most time we think that the biggest problem we are looking at is a big problem out of all. Some people are saying that, oh, somebody is doing me, oh, my village people, as we Africans will normally say. But sometimes the biggest problem you're having in your life, the solution might just be in the little things that you are skipping or you overlook. And I begin to notice those limiting beliefs. But do you know how I begin to spot those things? And I begin to realize that limiting belief, one, because I became self-aware of myself. That is number one. Number two, I became intentional with myself, became intentional with what I want and the things that I truly deserve. Number four, I begin to see an increase in my self-worth and I begin to see limiting belief. You see, you cannot move from one stage to another stage if you don't drop some things behind. Most of you today, there is a reason why you are stuck. Some of you, you are moving around. Let me tell you something. Do not confuse a person who have money and confuse a person who has information. They are not two things. A person who has information might not be able to have money, right? But a person who have money might not be able to have the information, and this is why the two people needs to work. But sometimes we don't know that we are the cause of our problem and we think it is somebody else, but no, it is because there is something in us that has not healed. There are some limiting beliefs you've had while growing up. Now you've grown as an adult. Before you could relate with your peers and relate with people of high category or your category, there are some attitude that you need to drop. There are some old belief system you need to drop in order to move to the next one, because something has to go before something has to come. It is just like money. If you don't spend money, money is an energy. If you don't spend money, money will not come back to you. So your limiting belief can be in the little things you skip. What is limiting you? Oh, my uncle is holding me for years. I have not made money. My auntie is holding me. Oh, one person do this. Fake prophet will be telling you rubbish, but sometimes it hides in the little things you're not looking. I'll give you an example. I used to have this phobia, and this phobia, I had it while growing up, and it had to become part of me that it got to a point I begin to notice it. Sometimes we don't know how damaging something is once it begin to show face. Like they say, before a sickness begin to show up, it has been damaging something. Now I begin to understand that I begin to have this phobia of, what is that phobia? I feel like I don't deserve the best. Do you know why? Why growing up, we lived in that limiting mentality. So whenever good things wants to happen to me, I feel like I have to struggle for it. And guess what? That has been keeping me stuck at one particular point in my life. Because why? I feel like I have to earn everything through sweat. I have to suffer to get everything. Until I begin to understand the power of manifestation, self-belief. At a very tender age, at 12, 13 years, I have been manifesting, but I did not understand what manifestation meant. At 21, I was trying to tap in. At 24, I became self-aware. That was when I began to understand this thing. I began to break limitation and self-limitation belief. So I used to have that mentality that before good thing come, I have to struggle, or you know what, I'm not yet due for the best things of life. Imagine that kind of mentality. Always feeling like the things I need. I know I need these things, but the mentality that I grew up with is making me to feel like I don't deserve those things. But I know I deserve more than that. So at 24 years old, I begin to break free from that mentality. This is why I tell you, great people are not born, they are made. And it is either your circumstances they make you or they break you.